All right. Okay, everything's happy so far, and it just crashed. Ugh. Okay, on to try two. So now it's waiting to do the next one. Now let's move on to the next one. Awesome. It now works. Perfect.
8 hours later.
Alrighty, let's talk about how the heck did I hack Mixamo in order to download all of these animations and the characters. So first off, right, if you go to my website, 2021, September, you can download the actions and the characters already made and the FBX file with all the animations on it. With that said, if you want to look into the actual code, go to my GitHub and there's Mixamo Cleanup, Mixamo FBX, and Mixamo Get Animations. So let's walk through it. So the very first script I have is the Mixamo Get Animations, which you can find here. So the Mixamo Get Animations, the way it works is first is Selenium. Now this is Python 3, sorry. So this is Python 3, right? So first off, there's Selenium, which is to essentially do the web scraping and then import web browser. And then there's the web driver. And if you notice inside of the Git, if we go back here, there's a Chrome driver. So what you have to do is you have to install an additional app essentially on your computer called Chrome driver that allows Python to take full control of Chrome. So here's the times, here's the JSON files, and then these are for different files. So the email and password here, these variables are the actual email and password for your Mixamo account. Now I put question marks, just for security for my own. And just to give you a fair warning, it looks like I might have destroyed my own account by doing this. And so they're not too happy with me. The save to is the location where you want to save everything you download from. And the downloads folder is, of course, is when you click on the download button where it downloads to. Here's the driver, the webdriver.chrome. And this is the Chrome driver I was talking about. So that way Python can take control of your Chrome. So driver.get Mixamo. So that is the front page. This is to log in. So we have to find the class element. It's the ID class name on Spectrum button. And then the very first one you find, we click on it, and that's how we log in. Once we go into that page, login page, we have to enter our email. That's what these guys do. And then we click on the next button and we sleep. So it's very important with the sleep because otherwise it's going to figure out you're a bot. Then we enter in our password, and then I have the time sleep 10. The reason being is if you do this too many times, it's going to ask you to use an email to confirm you are who you are. And I figure out the minimum amount of time I can do that is in 10 seconds. So now we're in Mixamo, right? So all of that, so these lines are just to log in, just to automate the process of logging in. Here's the animation count, and then here's the page count. So while it's true, so it's great to just keep doing this until you kill it. And so since I already did the brunt of this work, technically speaking, you can modify this so that way it only does, the 52 pages. So here's the page, and this tells me what page it is. And then the driver project animation. So we go to animations here, right? So that's what that does. And then this creates the folder for the animation. So if I go into here, not the Mixamo animations, here we go. So this is what I did. And this is what the animation count does. So for each one of these animations, I create a little folder. Inside of this folder, I have the downloaded animation, the JSON file, the JSON file, which gives me the image, the title, and the description, and then also the GIF. Because I realized something that what I could do is I could later on make this into a Blender add-on where you can just look at these GIFs and then simply just click on those and it'll automatically put them onto your character and stitch them together instead of you having to do the NLA editor. So essentially the reason why I did it like this is it's a possibility for a future Blender add-on. So this is the file what the file looks like. Let's look down here. Yeah, so there's 2,440. Now, there's not actually that many because there's some duplicates. And we'll kind of get into that a bit later. So we create the folder and then we click on the download button, right? So because we click on here, here's the download button. Select the animation, click downloads, and then here's the format. Sorry, here's the enclave. So this equals to this, right? So when I click on the downloads button, this is what's called. And then I sleep 10 seconds to fool it that I'm actually a person. Then I go to my downloads file, right? And actually copy it and move it to the folder that I created in here. So that's what actually moves everything into these little number folders that I created. So after that, then I scrape the GIF image. That's what this does. And then I also script the description. And I had to do a little playing around with that in order to get it of the title and then the description. So if we go in here, if we hover, right? So that's the top is the title, and then this is the description. And then of course I have the title, and then I create as a JSON, and then here I save it, and I sleep, right? And this is for an animation. So it's for all these animations. So once this is done, then I click on the next page. So find element by class name, which is this little arrow button right here, it took forever for me to find. So this is how I hacked the Mixamo. Now for the characters, it's the exact same thing. But unfortunately, I kind of lost the file that I wrote in order to do it. So after I did all that, what I then have to do was I have to move it into a different location. And because I originally had this in the Git folder, I then had to write a Python script right here, right? So I commented out for the time being, but to remove the DNS store. The DNS store is what Git uses to track the files. So I had to delete all that. Here we go. So here's the data, and then here's the image. So, and then here's the FBX. So what this did was based off of the data, it combined the title and the description as the name for both the GIF and the FBX. So if we go to the FBX, right, it's actually pretty long, right? So here's the title, and then there's a little semicolon, and then there's the description. And so by doing that, what's really cool is if there's a duplicate, it'll automatically replace it. 2027. So it turns out there's actually some duplicates, so that some of the Mixamo characters had the exact same name and description. So what they did is each page, you start randomizing what you would see. So that was part of the thing I was struggling with, and that's why I did the while true, because then I was trying to beat their randomization. Furthermore, this is a lot of good data I can use for computer vision. Right? So I did all that. So let's see, some Mixamo characters, right? So this is the folder of the script that I can't find that did the web scraping to download everything. When I found out these little chapter guys, right, they don't work. So what I then had to do was I had to essentially delete all those. And so I have these Mixamo good characters, right? So here's the Mixamo actions.blend. If you go to the scripting, here's the script. So what I did was the FBX folder, what I was talking about, which is unique names and no duplicates. I then wrote a Python script in Blender to then import it into Blender as actions. So here is Mixamo characters, and here's all the collections. So if you notice in the tutorial, right, you bring it over based off of the collection. The reason being is some of these have parts that are connected. So if you're trying to import it to the scene, it turns into a big mess. So again, what I did over here was very similar. I created a Python script to then import all those FBX characters into here, into Blender, and give them a custom collection. So that's what this script does.